Welcome to Retirement Ramblings. I'm Scott, and today is day 236 on my countdown to retirement, plus a catch up for days 237 and 238. So, for day 238, that was this past Thursday, pretty much a really boring day for me, other than the fact that I went into the office, I had a one on one with my boss. He told me that he had been reorged from being a direct report of the CEO to now reporting into the CTO, and that we needed to cut an additional $650,000 out of our budget. And he has a call scheduled with our CTO on Tuesday to discuss my position and with my current projects scheduled to wrap up at the end of May. I might be a very short timer, and I guess I will find out next week. So, we'll see what happens. And really, for me, the only thing I have to juggle around is healthcare. So, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, I'll keep on going until it does, or I make it till the end of the year, whichever comes first. Then I was super wiped out at the end of that day, so I literally crashed and fell asleep at around 8:30, which is why I didn't do the video that night. And then on Friday, I had all day meetings, and in between the meetings, I watched the halftime report and closing bell on CNBC. I ran out to Kroger and did most of our weekly shopping on the things that I needed to pick up. I piddled around, watched YouTube, and saw, Buzz and Steve and Dwayne and Joe Kuhn, among others. Caught up on all the videos I had missed from them. Yeah, and it was, just a generally slow day. And, I just quite honestly wasn't in the right frame of mind to do a video last night. So then today, Saturday, when I always do my weekly portfolio review, so I got up this morning, did the portfolio analysis. We ended the week down 0.03% over last week. So basically, it was a flat week for us. The Dow was down 0.2% to 41,249. The S&P was down 0.5% to 5660. The Nasdaq was down 0.3% to 17,929. The Russell 2000 was down 0.1% to 2,023. Oil, so WTI crude, was up 4.7% to $61.02 a barrel. Gold rebounded up 3.1% to 33.44 per troy ounce. Natural gas was up 4.6% to $3.79.5. The 10-year bond dropped 0.2 basis points to 4.381%. The biggest loser for the week was the healthcare stocks. The healthcare sector was down 4.3%, but if you look at all the major losers for the week, they were all primarily healthcare. And then the biggest winner of the week from a sector perspective was industrials. They were up 1.1%. So for us specifically, we're down 3.03% from the high that we reached in mid-February. We are almost back to break even for the year. We're down 0.18% since January 1st, 2025. So, again, flat week, nothing great, nothing horrible. And I guess, with the different trade deal discussions that are happening over the weekend with China and Switzerland, maybe the market will bounce this coming week. We are going to get the CPI this coming week, and other data that may or may not prove to be important with regard to how the markets respond. Anyway, I have multiple T-bills coming due this coming week, though, and so I'm going to need to decide how to reinvest them. And as I indicated earlier this week, I rolled over one T-bill into a 17-week, but the remaining ones I'm looking at doing in six 6 months or 26 weeks, 4 weeks. I'm sorry, 4 months, which is 17 weeks, 13 weeks, which is 3 months, um, to stagger when they're going to come up for renewal. The 12-month yield on so a 1-year T-bill is currently paying 3.989%. My local credit union down the road here is playing a flat 4% APY. So if I want to do something longer than 6 months, I can get 4% just by going to the credit union. And in Georgia, because we have state tax, it's not as good as a treasury because I still have to pay state tax on the income. So the net effect of that lowers the yield. But if I do it in treasuries, I don't have to pay the state tax, only the federal tax, which is why I generally prefer to do treasuries. And if you live in a state with high taxes, it's definitely better to do treasuries. Anyway, the current 6-month yield is 4.234%, but there's going to be a new auction on May 12th, so that number will get updated at that point in time. The 4-month yield is 4.318. That just went off this last week. The current 3-month yield is 4.325, and again, that's going to be updated on the 12th. So I guess we'll see, whether yields move higher or not, given that Jerome Powell and the Fed clearly indicated they weren't in any hurry to cut rates. And, if the CPI comes in and shows a tick higher this week, I'm definitely expecting then the rates are going to step up in the auctions that'll be at the end of the week or into the following week. So we'll see what happens. Then I spoke to my sister for about an hour and a half. My mom has a significant milestone birthday coming up this year, and so we were talking about taking her on a trip in July to Alaska on Regent, and then possibly staying a couple extra days in Anchorage, maybe do a train ride or some other activities that she would look forward to doing. Then I took my wife out for an early Mother's Day because due to the endoscopy she had earlier in the week, today was the first day she was allowed to eat non-room temperature, eat or drink non-room temperature food or beverages. So I said, "Where do you want to go?" So anyway, we ended up going out to Chili's, and she got a fresh Mex bowl plus the molten chocolate cake dessert, which is her favorite. And then, because it was close by and because she had a 40% off coupon plus $5 in Kohl's cash that was burning a hole in her pocket, I took her shopping over at Kohl's, and she was able to pick up some items that that she needed. That with the 40% off plus the Kohl's cash, ended up being a really good price for the items that she got. So she was happy about that. Came home. I started a chuck roast. Primarily, it won't get finished until probably 9 o'clock tonight, and then I'll just let it cool and put it away overnight. But I pretty much started it with the idea that that would become lunch tomorrow, and then for dinner, I've already gotten snow crab if she wants to have that for her real Mother's Day dinner, or if she wants something else, I can make something else. So we'll see whatever she wants to do. I know my son called her and spent some time on the phone with her yesterday, and she specifically told him not to send her chocolates or flowers or any of that stuff. As long as the cards were in the mail, that's the thing that she cared about, and he confirmed that they absolutely were. So hopefully, she'll get them. And then next up on my agenda, after making this video and posting it, will be to highlight my wife's hair. So her current color is a light cool brown, and while she doesn't mind the color, I always tease her that I married a blonde and I'd like to stay married to a blonde. So we're gonna do the highlighting here in just a little bit, and I'll show you a picture of like what the color looks like today before I highlight it, and then I'll snap a picture when I'm done. And on tomorrow's video, when I do an update, I'll let you see what the outcome ended up being. But personally, I think with the lighter color hair, it makes her look, younger one, and also, I'll say it, less bitchy looking. Because when she has dark hair, she has a certain look. And, she can give you that mean stare down if she wants to. Anyway, um, and then other than that, I'm tired today, and my boss he thought he had a sinus infection or whatever, and I was staying across the room from him when we were doing our one-on-one. But I got a scratchy throat today. It's slightly sore, so I'm hoping I didn't pick something up. Anyway, that is my update for today. And if you have any questions or any comments, leave them in the comment section down below or drop me an email at myretirementramblings@gmail.com. Otherwise, I look forward to talking to you tomorrow at the conclusion of Mother's Day. And for any mothers out there, I wish you a joyous Mother's Day full with happy new memories. But until tomorrow, take care.